In the aftermath of that tragic shooting on Tuesday, many are grieving, left confused, and wanting answers.
Overwhelmed by strong feelings, we're faced with the need to process all these emotions. And here to help us in this time of need, psychiatrist Dr. Michael Lardon. And thanks so much for being here, doctor. We sure appreciate your time.
Pleasure to be here.
Boy, my kids, there was a scare at our school, the copycat, lockdown at our school. And boy, these kids, they just go through a lot. The parents, there's so many emotions, there's so much stress that's going on. What is some of the advice you have for us to start having these conversations about where we stand in these schools, the threats that we now face, and how kids can process it? How can we help our kids?
Well, I think it's very difficult for all of us. This kind of shooting, this mass shooting in many ways is more traumatic than even war because it's unpredictable, it's random, it threatens us, and there's really no purpose. So not only our children, but us as adults, it becomes very difficult. So it creates sadness, hurt and anger. We feel threatened, we feel helpless. We have to be careful not to project that onto our children. When we're talking to our children, it's really an age-related. So the general rule, if our children are 8 years old or less, we probably don't talk about it too much. We limit their exposure to the media. If they bring it up, we then hear what their concerns are. We try to address it with them. We try to reassure them that they're safe. And one little thing that you can do for young children is sublimate. And what does that mean? That means maybe they write a letter to the fire department or the police, thanking them for keeping us safe. And that gives them a sense of safety. It's also important to observe our kids. And if we see changes in behavior, if they're acting out in any way, that's a real red flag to engage some mental health and to really watch them carefully.
For both adults and children, I know that there are multiple ways to deal, but what are some of those healthy outlets for dealing with these complex emotions that you just described there?
Well, people tend to go one of two ways because the feelings are so powerful and so difficult to metabolize. We see people get overwhelmed and it sort of takes over their daily life. We have adults that drive by the schools. They don't want to send their kids to school. It creates anxiety to do that. So you have people that are really overwhelmed over here. And then you have people over here that just stuff it. They compartmentalize it. And neither of those things are very healthy. The best thing is to talk about it. If you can talk about it with friends, age appropriate, that's good. If it becomes a bigger issue, and this is a very big issue, mental health professionals would be a very good way to go. And then again, the same concept with the children is to sublimate it, taking something that's very difficult, making a positive. So whether that's getting involved in mental health advocacy or gun control issues, those kinds of things make us feel more in control, make us feel safer. And that's really the best way to address such a difficult situation.
Let's talk about how therapeutic it is for the kids to get this off their chest. I took that advice. I have an 11, 9, and 7-year-old doctor. When the 7-year-old left the room, my wife and I had this conversation last night with our 11 and 9-year-old about what they're feeling, what they've heard. We just asked them to talk about what's on their mind. And my 11-year-old right away, I said, oh, everything's fine. But you can tell, if you know your kid well enough, you can tell something's bothering them. And you have to make it a comfortable setting for them and ask them to open up. And sure enough, they did. Did I do that right? You don't want to harp on it. You don't want to kind of bring it up in a bad way. But they need to find a way to open up, right?
That was perfect. We would applaud that. So your younger child, maybe doesn't really conceptually understand it. That child leaves the room. And you create an open atmosphere rather than, telling them. You listen to them. And even if they minimize it, really, you try to get them to open up. You hear their concerns. You address their concerns. And you're careful not to project all your anxieties on them. And they'll feel better that they can talk about it. And again, we have to reassure them that, they're safe. This is a very rare event. They're going to be okay. And I think you did a great job. So Good job.
Yeah, Dr. Lardon, yeah, they didn't want to go back to school today, to be honest with you, but we told them, like you said, look, it's a safe atmosphere. This is very rare. You know, evil it happens in some parts of the world, but you're in a safe spot here. We need to reassure that message, right, that the kids are safe and that something like this, you know, is very rare, right?
Well, I mean, you know, if you choose otherwise, you'll create more anxiety in the children, and that doesn't lead down a good path.
Right.
And even though this is so disturbing, it's really an issue for adults to address in a positive way. Again, things like gun control and mental health advocacy. Yeah. So we leave the job to us, but we do have to reassure our children.
Yeah, Dr. Lardon, thanks so much for the advice, the tips. A lot of parents having these conversations that I just had to have, and it really does help us help them get through this all. Sad that we're in this state here, but it's something that we definitely have to talk with the kids. So thank you, doctor, for your advice there.